The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from Fantastic Forum Studios, Los Angeles. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you stick with us. We'll have you take it up a notch. You have half of the usual suspects in the building. First, he is a riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Indeed. As for myself, I am your humble servant, Lawrence Young, a.k.a. Mayor Young. We are late. I did see Hex comment. Late AF. And we are late. We had some technical difficulties in true Fantastic Forum fashion. Yes, it was my fault. I'll say that since Mo's not here. In the spirit of Moses, in the spirit of Oz, I'll say something about I don't know. What would Oz say? What came to mind was something along the lines of like, the later the berry, the sweeter the show. But I don't know why Oz would say that. He. Well, either way, it's late, but it's worth the wait because we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking to you all about the latest installments of What If. So if you've been watching Marvel's What If, we're going to talk about some of these episodes, including the one that came out today. So we're going to be doing that. Also, we are going to be talking about the Star Wars, the High Republic, Edge of Balance manga. So I don't know what happened. I was about to say manga, but manga. So we're gonna be talking about that today, as well as the which I guess the manga as well. Happy Kaneko's Killer Life. Is that right, Jay? That's it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we got all of that coming up for you, as well as the latest and greatest in comic book news, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. So feel free to go ahead, hit us up, let us know what it is that you want to talk about. If you're wondering, before we do all that, though, we want to make sure we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, who without him, this show would not have happened. So shout out to Scott Rubin. Thank you, good sir. Also, even though we did do it a little bit earlier, shout out to Moses, shout out to Oz. They're both indisposed at this time, unfortunately, but hopefully one or both will be back next week. So yeah, but in the meantime, if you want to get down with Fantastic Forum, you can watch us. If you're watching us on Twitch, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can just go ahead and put the chat into either one of those, actually, and we will take it out of chat and bring it to the show, such as insert witty chat comment here, Jay.
Tiger Claw says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? What you thought of the trailer for the Hawkeye series? Hawkeye Saves Christmas."
Like, did Tiger Claw just mess around and give that joint a subtitle? Just out of nowhere, he's like, "Hawkeye Saves Christmas."
I mean, it makes sense. Like, judging by what the trailer showed, he's going out saving Christmas.
It is Christmas time. I don't know if he's out saving Christmas as much as trying to have Christmas with his family, apparently. And so, it's interesting. That's an interesting. It's an interesting premise, especially for Hawkeye, just because in the comics, like, it's not like I can't say that Hawkeye notoriously doesn't have a family. It's just one of those things where he just doesn't. And so, it like his wife and children are definitely a big factor that separates MCU Hawkeye from 616 Hawkeye. And so that's an interesting premise. I like it. And I also like I feel like it's interesting how that might play into the idea of like, hey, maybe I do want to take on a protege, because it's like I maybe don't want to do this anymore, so I can be with my family and not have to worry about, have them in hiding all the time and friggin' them accidentally getting assassinated because of something I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was an interesting trailer. Like, don't get me wrong. It did. I'll say this. It didn't knock my socks off, but it seemed like it was interesting. It's not like I was like, by no means does it look like a bad show. And then on top of that, of course, it's like Marvel Studios at this point. It's kind of like, listen, we need these fools to miss a couple times before we're like, oh, we're not sure if they have it anymore. It's like they've been so consistent with what they've been putting out that it's like there's no reason to doubt Hawkeye as a show. But what I will say is this initial trailer is like, it didn't knock my socks off. I think that the show's still going to be great. It's just maybe the initial trailer is not that great. They're holding some stuff back.
I know Black Widow's sister was conspicuously absent
Right.
from the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolute. And so, who knows? And I'm hoping that with these trailers that they put out, because we know they'll put out at least another one, probably a second trailer before the show actually. Well, actually, wait, when's the show come out? I don't remember. Do you
November.
remember, Jay? Oh, okay, yeah. So they'll put out a second, maybe even a third trailer before the show actually airs, or starts airing, I should say. And I'm hoping that they mess around and pull a Shang-Chi and keep a lot of stuff to the close to the vest, even though Oz mystically was able to determine the entire plot of the story from all these trailers, which I'm like, okay, man, if you say so. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. What's Big Man in chat saying?
Big Man 24/7 says the Marvel shows have been hit or miss. A Hawkeye show compared to the others has a chance to be good, or at least short, like the others that had only 6 episodes.
Big Man is like, hey man, it has a chance to be good, but either way, it probably won't stick up the place for too long. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can forget that after about a month and a half and be like, yeah, remember that thing? Nah, we don't remember that. We don't talk about that. Listen, I mean, I would venture to ask Big Man, like, the shows have been hit or miss. I mean, realistically, if we're talking about Marvel, like if we're talking about Marvel Studio shows, there's only been 2 so far, right?
No, there's been at
least
no
3. Cause what if?
No, Loki.
Oh, damn! Wow. Loki, okay. No, right. Okay.
Scarlet
4.
Witch and Captain America and Winter Falcon.
Wait, what happened, Jay? You're like Scarlet Vision and Captain America Winter Falcon?
It says Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, like that's the name of the show.
The name of her show.
Got it. Okay.
I couldn't remember it, so I just said her.
Oh, okay.
Then it said Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
No, you didn't say no Winter Soldier.
What did I say?
You said the Winter Falcon.
You know what? That does sound like what I said.
Yeah, you said the Winter Falcon, which I'm not mad at. I was like, a Winter Falcon actually sounds like a cool thing. Like, I'm like, I don't know if that's like an animal that exists in the wild, but I'm like, I would like to see a Winter Falcon and see what that looks like. Like, in my mind, I'm like, Winter Falcon is like basically a black Winter Soldier with wings. And I'm like, word. Look, I'm like, I think I want to see that now. Like, especially if like it has like the one metal arm and it's shiny, but the wings are like maybe like black or something like that. I'm like, dude, that's like some whole Silverhawks kind of vibes right there. I'm with it.
Dude, I heard they're making a new one.
I heard that too.
Someone's got plans. And I wonder if they're going to do the space trivia at the end of each episode. Like
I'm going to go. I'm going to 100% go with no on that. It will be space trivia at the end, and it will actually be Neil deGrasse Tyson in full Silverhawk regalia giving that space fact at the end of every episode. Like he's gonna have like it'll just be Neil deGrasse Tyson's face with like the metal all around. Damn, that actually sounds hilarious, and I think I want to see that now too. Damn, I'm coming up with
Big
all of these.
Man
Yeah, go for it.
answering the question I had in my head. He says, WandaVision had a bad start for me, but got good. Falcon was great, and Loki was disappointing to me.
Mm.
So,
Now wait, the question that you had on in your head was what shows he disliked or didn't like. Like that was the question that was in your head.
yeah, like he says, some of the shows were hit and miss, and I've
Yeah.
loved all these shows. So I was like, well, which one? I wonder which ones he
Oh.
thought were misses.
Okay. You heard me ask that question out loud too, though, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Joe, you know you're the only other one here right now. You can't. Listen. I need you. Like just like man, Jay's like I'll be listening to this show. Jay, it's literally just me and you right now. Like if you don't listen to this show right now, I'm doing a solo show. I'm out here like 100% Bobby Blackwolf in it, and I don't know if I can do that.
No,
that's
I am here with you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
I do have to monitor chat, and I've got like all the directing things. And
that's
Tiger
fair.
Claw was talking about today's Wi-Fi was interesting, and
it
ended up being a typo.
So,
I got to keep up with everything that's going on.
He was trying to say what if, but then Wi-Fi.
Right.
Okay, Jay. Listen, I appreciate you.
I got a lot of people to listen to.
You are doing a lot. That is 100% true, and that's because like my computer's down, and so unfortunately I can't even share the duties with you. Which Jay, you're out here doing like you're Moses, you're Oz, you're Jay, look, and half of Miriam. So like I appreciate you, man. Listen, okay, I'm more just picking at you because I can, but like it's already made for some interesting moments because like I said, I feel like I wish we had like enough fans where somebody would do like fan art that would mess around and be like, oh yeah, Jay said Winter Falcon, so we just drew this. I was like, I wish we had that kind of fan base where before the show was over, somebody had the Winter Falcon art that they could send into the show before the show was over. We'll get there one day. We're not there yet, and that's okay. That's not any kind of diss to our current audience because we love you all. Like all 6 of you. I would invite you all to the house after the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that, I know that that's like one of those things where I feel like when we get to a certain level, we'll have like Jay will say things like that. And before the show's done, somebody will be like, oh, here's the Winter Falcon.
Right.
So,
So Tiger Claw's talking about what if. Should we jump into it?
Yeah, real quick. If you want to get down with the show, go to fantasticforum.live, hit the call-in button, and you will be right now coveted 3rd member of Fantastic Forum. Very seldom does somebody get to be the 3rd member of Fantastic Forum because usually there's only like one of us gone, if at all. But yeah, man, with the forum's down by half. So if you want to be a 3rd member of Fantastic Forum, you can hit the call-in button either at fantasticforum.live or I might have put a link into one of the other joints too. But either way, call in fantasticforum.live. All right, let's jump into what if. Oh damn, we don't even have whatchamacallit review music because I have no computer. Huh?
We should sit in silence and then Mo can add it in post.
Sounds good. Here we go. Moment of silence.
I don't remember how long the thing is.
I don't listen. I'm mad at myself. I'm like, damn it, I messed up the silence. Anyway, let's get into it. Marvel's What If, the latest Marvel series currently going on. I don't even know how many episodes are left. I think we're in what 5? This is episode 5. I
Yeah, I
think
believe so.
I'm pretty sure it's episode 5 that came out today. When we talked about it last, I think we were talking about uh, only had gone up to episode 3. I'm pretty sure, right? So, um, actually, it might be 2. I don't even remember. But either way, there's a couple episodes at least have aired since we talked about What If last. Um, and Yeah, let's just talk about the series in general because since last we talked about it, we had Marvel Zombies. We had wait, did we didn't do yeah, we did talk about the murder mystery one, right? With
Yes.
yeah, okay, so we did talk about that. But since then we
Wait,
had
murder
Marvel
mystery?
Zombies. Well, I mean, yeah, with the what if the Avengers got murdered or whatever?
Oh, right. Yeah, we did talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, we did talk about that one. So yeah, so it's been 2 episodes since we talked about it last, and that's the Marvel Zombies episode. And then today we had what if Killmonger had saved Tony Stark. So, what did you think of the Marvel Zombies episode, Jay?
Oh, Marvel Zombies was actually pretty fun. Like,
Uh
uh, it could have been funner, obviously.
huh.
Like, it's a Disney level zombie fun. Um, but yeah, just seeing like the heroes eating people, and I really love it. That it's the fact that the Avengers were the first to go into trouble is why they were eaten first. Like,
Yeah,
because it makes a lot of sense. Like they're
yeah,
first on the scene to try and help, and they become zombies and start killing people, and
right.
they keep their abilities. Like that was actually pretty awesome. Like zombie
Yeah.
tap with the shield, like
Hmm.
dude, like so fun.
Yeah. That's actually a carryover from the comic.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, which that was interesting because I felt like that was well, not the only part, but it was like they kept their abilities, which I appreciated. But in if I'm remembering right, in Marvel Zombies, they kept their intelligence, and that's not to say that that wasn't the case in this What If version, because obviously they're using the skills and the zombies aren't dumb, but like they could talk and everything. Like the zombies were basically like a version of that person, but or in the comic, they were a version of that person that just all of a sudden had that insatiable hunger for flesh, you know? So it's
Um,
like imagine if you were a zombie, but all of a sudden you had an uncontrollable urge to eat, or you're a regular person, but you had an uncontrollable urge to bite people.
yeah, I think the way you explained it to me was the less they eat, the more like zombie-ish they get, and then when they do eat, they kind of come back to normal-ish.
That sounds about right. Yeah, because that was like one of the plot points, if I'm not mistaken. Like they had to eat in order to be like smart or like more themselves to try to figure out like, okay, can we like do something to fix this?
Right.
They had to feed. So I like, and there was like there was a part of me that was kind of hoping that a little bit of that would be a part of the plot point, but I could understand, especially given the amount of time they have, why they didn't go into all that. Like, changing the medium, right? Like a animated short doesn't have the room for all that necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the short form kind of being a detriment, today's episode, what if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? I kind of felt like that, like, part of it is definitely the writing, but part of it is the short form. Like, this would have been like a really good issue, like episode 1, where they
Mm,
just kind of like they set something up and then it would get better as it goes along.
yeah.
And here it just doesn't, well, because it's a one shot, and it's as a one shot, it's not great. Like, I actually thought it was pretty dull.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it were like in episode 1, I would be like a little more excited. Like, because
Right.
it seemed like it was going places, or it had places to go.
Right.
But because it's short form, it's just, yeah, like this episode wasn't really doing it for me.
See, I'd have. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, what did you think?
Oh, I was just say I would have to disagree a little bit, not in the sense that you're right that the episode definitely had places to go, and it like you and I think had the same feeling in the sense that it left me wanting more, at the end. But I don't feel like that was a bad thing because it's like I felt like it did what it was supposed to do as a short in a way where it was just like, yeah, like it kind of gives you that cliffhanger and you're like in your mind, you're like, oh man, they could go all types of directions with this. And to me, that felt like a good thing. Like now at the same time, I can understand I think where you're coming from because especially like the character of Killmonger in this is doing a lot of machinations. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing a lot of like plans on top of plans on top of plans, and you're kind of like you like as the episode goes further, you're seeing like the layers of what he's trying to do. And for me, I found that really interesting and entertaining. Like I was like it gave a like it was the same character that we saw in Black Panther. It was just that, because you're seeing him in a completely different setting, it gives like a different dimension to that character to me. And I'm like, that's very cool. Like I really enjoyed it personally. And I definitely at the end was like, man, I really want to know what's gonna happen next. But that felt like a good thing to me. Like the episode did the job it was supposed to do, which was like intrigue me and want me to want more. But I can understand from your perspective, you're like, hey, it's like all you did was tease me. Like it sounds to me like you would preferred all of the stuff that you saw that was like expanded, maybe condensed, to like maybe half the episode length, so you could get the other half to see what happens next.
Kind of, not really. Like on the, like it was definitely on the disinterested side in that. Like I said, the machinations, they were interesting, kind of,
Mm.
but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I just, for some reason, I just couldn't get, or I didn't get that into it.
Mm.
And it did have its moments, and it wasn't like terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, I just felt like there was really lackluster. Like, I don't know. It just didn't really do anything for me.
That's fair. Well, hey, man, it's different strokes for different folks. Like I can't be mad at you, but it's like for me, it's like that stuff was like right up my alley. Like I love that kind of storytelling and watching a character like manipulate people a little bit. You know what I mean? And especially when they're like smart, capable people, because it's like obviously Tony Stark is Tony Stark, so it's not like that thing where they didn't like play Tony Stark out of character where he just got duped. You know, it's like Tony Stark was smart enough to figure out what was going on, and unfortunately, wasn't able to follow through on what he was trying to have happen. So it's like, but that's good. That's good
Right.
writing because you could always mess around and make your smart character do stupid things, and then you're just like, you're there watching stuff like, why would such and such that's supposed to be a genius do this ridiculously dumb thing? And it's like, okay, like no, like the dude, like I felt like both the people that wrote this episode both understood Killmonger and they both understood Tony Stark. And it's like, if they're gonna play off of each other, how to make it so that both of the characters are serviced well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tiger Claw in chat says, let's not forget that huge surprise at the end of the zombie episode. I don't remember the huge surprise.
So like, too bad, Tiger Claw. We've already forgotten it. Like, I'm sure it was like, was it a Galactus thing or something like that? Like, or
Oh yeah, I think it was something like that. Like,
yeah, like
a
I'm sure it was
planet
something like
killer
that.
zombie.
Yeah, something, like you can tell us what it is, Tiger Claw, if you want. Spoilers for those that maybe haven't watched it yet, but you like these.
No, I think you're
They're
right. I think it was Galactus was a zombie.
yeah.
Oh no, Thanos.
Oh, there it
Tiger
is.
Claw says
Yeah,
zombie Thanos.
yeah. And see, that's the thing. That actually, I'm kind of feeling. There's a part of me that's like, I guess that could happen, but there was another part of me that's like, I don't know. That feels like a little cheap ending. That's a little like, I won't say like fan service, but it's more like it's an unearned kind of ending where it's like, it feels like something they think they can get away with, as opposed to something where you're like, oh wow, like of course it's zombie Thanos. But okay, you know. I will also mention, Jay, this was actually episode 6 because there was the Doctor Strange episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't talk about the Doctor Strange episode, did we?
I feel like,
I don't think so.
we might have talked about it off show.
Oh,
I
maybe
do
that's what it
remember
is.
talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think we did talk about it off show, but there was the Doctor Strange episode, which I believe that was episode 4 actually. And that was like the first episode where they went dark. Because
Right.
before that, it was like everything, and it wasn't like I mean, the Avengers getting murdered isn't exactly light fare. Or maybe actually, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't look. I'm getting all confused. If someone in the chat wants to help me out and let me know which episode came first, like which one was episode 3, which one was episode 4, feel free. But either way, I feel like we didn't talk about it a lot. So, but that Doctor Strange episode was good too.
So I have the episode list.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, what if Captain Carter were the first Avenger? What if T'Challa
Right.
became Star-Lord?
Right.
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
Right.
What
Okay.
if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?
Mm-hmm.
What if zombies? What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark?
Okay. So yeah, I think episode 4, 5, and 6 is what we didn't talk about on the show. I think you and I talked about Doctor Strange together.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think we talked about that on the show. And so yeah,
was a
that
good
episode.
one.
Yeah,
Like,
it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What
Man,
did you
so
like about
good.
it? Like what made it stand out for you as far as like, because obviously this is the most excited you've gotten so far talking about these episodes.
It was just so dark. Like, I love how we could not save that woman no matter how we tried. Like, literally brings the world to ruin trying to save this woman who is not happy to be saved in the decaying, like, oh man, it was so good. And that episode had a really good use of the Watcher. Like, we see him in the background of a lot of these episodes, but his placement in that one was just kind of like, it just felt really big.
Yeah.
And real. And then at the end where Strange tries bargaining with the Watcher to help him fix his mess, like, so good. Like, I love that episode.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%, man. It was a great episode. One of the standout portions of that episode is they have and this is both from a story perspective and an animation perspective, as far as I'm concerned, is they have a montage of Doctor Strange like learning how to like capture and absorb the energy, like the life force of different mystical beings, like mystical creatures. And like it has like literally it cuts, the scenes will cut from him, like the creature coming in and then him absorbing it, and like it will cut to a version of him that's like combined with that creature. And they start doing that, like at first they do it slowly, where it's like like it kind of establishes like, okay, he's conjuring these mystical creatures, and then he's like stealing their life force, and then they kind of come like become a part of him. And as he keeps doing that, they end up like speeding up the process because he's able to do like bigger creatures, and they show it faster. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's just like creature life steal, then a creature version of Doctor Strange. And it just like starts flashing like really quick. And I'm just like, dude, like I remember sitting there watching that, like, this is amazing storytelling right here. Like, it's good stuff. Yeah, man. That's a great episode.
Oops. Tiger Claw says they released a mid-season trailer this week that shows bits of the next episodes, and it seems they might be teasing some of the Avengers from the different universes teaming up. Did you see the mid-season trailer?
I did not see it, but I don't remember if it was Mo or Oz. I feel like one of them had mentioned that, like, that eventually there's going to be an episode that's going to have multiple different versions of these people that we've been seeing, which I would definitely welcome. Like, you know, that's like some Exiles kind of vibes, you know, to it. Or, you know, for those that have never heard of Exiles, that was a comic book back in the day, of an X-Men book that had like alternate reality versions of the X-Men all on one team that would hop from reality to reality. So yeah, a great book.
One led by Hope, right?
Nah, man. Listen, Hope's not in a book that good, man. You know this. No,
she was doing that, but she was doing that at one point, right? Hopping from reality to reality.
Hope was hopping through timelines.
Oh.
So yeah, so there is that. Like that's when she was being chased by Bishop. Like Cable had Hope, and they were being chased through time, basically, by Bishop.
I mean, like she led a team of X-Men.
I don't remember Hope. I don't remember Hope leading a team of X-Men through time. It could have happened. I mean, you know, I was not a big Hope Summers fan, so it's like, I mean, really, but we say that like there was a good reason to be a Hope Summers fan. It's like, I like what they do with her now in the Krakoa era. The Krakoa era, Hope Summers is kind of cool with me. Even though I read an X-Men comic book today and she's like spouting off to Professor X, and I'm like, you know, it's like, no, like she can do it because she is like the de facto leader of the Five, which is like the group of mutants that like handle all of the resurrection of all the X-Men. So it's like she has like the kind of clout where she would feel comfortable doing that. And that was the kind of person she was already, like from before. So it's like, you know, it didn't make sense when she would do it before. It makes more sense now. So whatever, you know. Okay. But no, the most, or not the most famous, but generally speaking, when people think about who was leading the Exiles, probably most people either think about Age of Apocalypse Blink or a version of Sabretooth. You know, or you know, like I think originally, Age of Apocalypse Blink and Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth were both the leader of the Exiles, I think. And keeping in mind that Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth is a good guy. So yeah. So yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Back to What If. I know. Wait, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about What If, right? So yeah, I would love to see different like versions of those heroes come together, and just to see what, like, I don't need it to be like episodes and episodes of it, but I would an episode where that happens. Yeah, I would love to see that. especially if they want to make it like a little longer because it's like more people. Like, yeah, go for it.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
okay.
but yeah, man. So you weren't so much feeling this latest episode of What If, Jay. You loved the Doctor Strange episode. And then in between that, we had the zombies episode. Which what's your feeling like? But like, is it somewhere in between those two episodes, or
Um, I it
party at
is.
Jason's?
Sorry.
No
Um,
problem.
it's my first day.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I really like the zombies episode. Maybe not as much as the Doctor Strange, but pretty close.
hmm
Um, I actually really enjoyed the Sharon Carter episode.
Oh yeah,
I thought
yeah,
that was
absolutely.
like great.
Yeah, I thought it was a great way to start too.
Yeah, and yeah, like all in all, overall, like this has just been really good. Like
hmm
really good.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I know for me, like I've really been enjoying the What If series just across the board. Like I haven't watched an episode yet that I was like, oh, I could have I could have left this. It's like every episode I've seen, I'm like, no, I wish I had seen it. Like, I'm happy I watched it, and I would feel like if knowing what I missed, I would have felt bad about missing it. There's moments here or there where I'm just like, oh, I don't know. But like I said, honestly, I feel like the Marvel Zombies Thanos ending is probably like that for me was like, I'm not sure if they earned that, and that was it. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a short story. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the same way, like I almost look at these. I don't look at these episodes as much as like the same way I would look at a issue of What If, because I feel like a What If issue, whether you're talking about classic What If or even the more current What Ifs, which are multiple, like most of them are like multiple installments of a like an alternate take on an event story or something like that. But I don't think of these episodes as much as like either one of those versions of the actual comic, as much as these feel like almost like really good backup stories that you get in a book, where it's like after you've already had like the main comic, it's like they put it like another, maybe like 10-page story or something like that, or a 15-page story.
Right.
Uh and that's what these what ifs feel like. And so because it has that feel to me, it's like I kind of give it a little bit of leeway. Like, yeah, you didn't earn the Thanos ending, but it's okay. you know, I'm not gonna make a big stink about it.
Right.
You're like, we gotta end the episode somehow, right? It's like, and then like this feels like a cool way to end it. And it's like, okay, you're right. I guess if that's what you like, if that's what we're doing, let's just figure out a cool high note to end on. Okay, that's a cool high note to end on. It's like it doesn't matter that it's like disconnected from everything else, kind of. So
Right.
so cool. So I look. You got anything else to say about What If?
Um, I was just thinking just now, like zombie Wakandans might have been a better ending than zombie
Yeah,
Thanos.
yeah. Which I mean, and that's the thing where it's kind of like, okay. I mean, the zombie, like obviously the time that it was set in was the time Thanos was coming to Earth to get the Infinity Gems, or if you want to call them stones.
Or zombie
But
widows.
huh?
Or zombie widows.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I like because like you had Bruce Banner going down during that moment, and you have friggin' um oh geez, I'm forgetting the names of my Black Order people. Um, damn it, like they're all mulling around in my head, and then also too, like the big guy, the big guy, they changed his name, I think, because or at least they changed it from what it was in the comic, because I think they gave him the name of a different one. Because I don't know, I feel like he was super giant in the comic, but I don't know. But either way, like you had the same people that the same fight that um they had in Avengers Infinity War, where you have like the telekinetic dude that I can't think of his name right now, all of a sudden crazy, um and then the other guy like fighting in the street, but you know they got gotten by the zombies, right? And in my mind, I guess it's kind of like, yeah, Thanos is gonna come still, and he's gonna be like, what happened to my people? But I don't feel like Thanos is gonna mess around and go down there and get gotten and become a zombie. Like that's not gonna happen. Thanos is like, not only is Thanos like way too smart for that, but just from a tactical perspective, like Thanos isn't gonna just beam down to Earth and be like, "Where are my people?" You know,
Or they'll
Apple's
send his
gonna like
daughters down.
look, or use some sort of scanning device or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, like he's gonna look before he leaps, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, there's zombies down there." And I'm not saying that he's gonna be like, "Oh well, I'm not gonna go down there because there's zombies because it's Thanos," but he's gonna be ready for zombies. Like it's Thanos. Like why? Like what? Thanos is not friggin' random Walking Dead character. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, he
Right.
got bit on the ankle. They got him. You know, it's like that's not how Thanos. Like Thanos is gonna make sure that, okay, there's obviously some sort of infection here. I'm gonna take all the necessary precautions to make sure that I don't get it. And so that's kind of for me where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how you don't earn that joint. Like,
Now,
mhm,
my question it's a comic book question.
mhm.
Does Thanos get any credit with death for killing zombies?
I'm gonna say no. Yeah, I feel like
So,
zombies are undead.
so he should be avoiding Earth if it's full of
Oh,
zombies. Like
listen.
if in the comic, if he was to go to Earth and
Yeah,
they were full of zombies, should just bounce. If
yeah,
death isn't even going to appreciate it,
100%, 100%. Like there's no good reason for him to go down there other than he's like, okay, I still need to get these Infinity Gems, right? And a planet full of zombies is not a good reason for Thanos not to go get Infinity Gems. Like he'll go get them, but he's gonna be successful. Is the whole thing. Like not there's no zombie that can like the non-zombie Avengers can stop him from getting all the Infinity Gems. So why would the zombie ones be able to do it? You know what I mean? Like these fools are hungry. They're not focused. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't. They're not going to be able to do it. So I don't like. That's why I think that was the thing for me. And that's like I said. This is a little bit more me overanalyzing because that's what I do as a comic book fan. And but I'm just like, okay, it's
well,
like,
maybe
dude,
Hawkeye could have got him.
no, what, Jay? What do you mean? How?
Like if
Like
he put
Hawkeye's gonna?
blood on the arrow,
Yeah, but why would Thanos get shot by an arrow?
if he's not looking, if he's distracted by Thor,
Yeah, like I don't. No, no,
maybe.
I don't. Even maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. But hey, it's a story. It's a backup story. So I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. All right. Um. I mean, we're not trying to rate What If, are we?
Nah, just general impressions of the
Yeah,
season
just
so
talking
far.
about it. Okay, yeah. I'm excited for whatever comes next though, because and that's the thing. Like, I know that they like release like you know what the upcoming episodes are, but I prefer going into it like blind personally. Like I'm just like I've been really enjoying just be like, oh wow, like I did like until I like pull up the episode and I'm like, oh, what if da 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 da? I'm like, that's gonna be interesting. And and it's like sometimes like more than anything, it's like even like what was the title of the one? What if the world lost its heroes? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like in my mind, I had an idea of what that episode was gonna be like. And then when I actually watched it, it was completely different. I was like, oh man, like I did not realize that this is what this episode was gonna be. And that's a great experience for me too. So I don't need any synopses. I don't need to know titles beforehand. It's like, let me just hit play on Wednesday, you know?
Yeah, makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm. All right. What are we talking about next, Jay?
Let's do Star Wars.
Let's do it. Okay. Moment of silence so Mo can insert comic book reviews. Yeah. I like it. I like it. I wanted to say theater, but that was last review. That was
Right.
like theater. Theater. No. Okay. So yeah, Star Wars, the High Republic, um, Edge of Balance. The Edge of Balance. That's the
Well,
full title,
first
correct?
off, let me ask you first off, are you caught up with all your High Republic? Like,
No, I'm not caught up with all of it because like I haven't finished the novel yet. Um, I am probably like 2 or 3 issues behind in the comic, even though I have them, but I haven't read them yet. And then I also have like one of those like little kid activity books or something like that that I haven't read yet. I went all in on the High Republic because I was like, you know what? I like this seems interesting to me, and
no,
I know
I
other
get
people.
it.
Yeah, other people are trashing it, but like I haven't read anything that I've disliked yet. So I'm just like, hey, I get it. You all don't like it. You feel like it's you know the woke agenda coming for Star Wars, and it's like, okay. I mean, look, you're more than welcome to feel how you feel. I know for me, it's like
Wait,
I
is
haven't
that what
read
you're
it.
saying about it? It's
Some
woke?
people have. Some people feel that way because I mean, look, there's a lot of women and minorities in these High Republic stories, and
I mean,
that's
it's
enough.
kind of
That's
like the
enough.
books. It's kind of
Kind
like
of
the
like what
books got a
books?
lot of women and minorities.
Like you mean the
Like the
novelization?
non-canon, yeah, or the
Oh, the stuff that's
non-canon
non-canon
book
now?
that they threw out had lots of women and minorities.
Hey, listen,
Dude, the absolute best Darth was a woman.
the best like Sith Lord.
Yeah,
Who's the best Sith Lord that was a woman?
Rain.
Darth Darth Rain.
Yeah,
Who's that?
Bane's apprentice.
Oh, damn, was her name Rain?
Well, that was her nickname. I don't remember her real name, but she went by
Oh, got you.
Rain.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean Bane, yeah, like his apprentice was awesome. Um, yeah, but okay, and that's the best Sith Lord to you.
Yes.
That's interesting. Hey, that's fair. I will look. I will definitely keep that in my mental memory bank and be like, man, that's another one of those J opinions that it's like, wow. Like, that's fair. That's fair though. I mean, Rain, Dark Rain. Okay, yeah, got you. Okay, cool.
Tiger
So,
Card says, I forgot about Asajj Ventress.
yeah, Asajj
I did
Ventress is
not
cool
forget
too.
about her. She, one, wasn't a Darth.
No, yeah, definitely not a Sith Lord.
And if we are talking about just Force users, she was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, no, Asajj
Um,
Ventress is fantastic, and like I'm actually trying to get like a Sith Lord, like a Sith Lord uh Black Series kind of collection going on,
mm-hmm.
and it hasn't even started yet. It hasn't started yet, but I'm planning on having an Asajj Ventress as a part of that, even though she doesn't belong there because she's not a Sith Lord, but she's still Asajj Ventress. Like that's going to be one of those. Like that's my asterisk pick, you know?
Right.
Hmm.
You know she died, right?
Yeah, I do know this.
It was sad,
Wait,
but it was an awesome book. Like,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
her mastery of the dark side is just amazing.
Hmm. But technically, in this new canon, she's not necessarily dead, right?
The new canon, I don't know if she even exists in the new canon. And the book is actually technically a kind of off canon, like it's canon adjacent.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they wanted to
Canada
do
Chase.
that. They actually wanted to do like it's based on a script that didn't make it into the show.
Okay.
So they wanted it to happen, but I don't remember why it didn't.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So yeah, but let's talk about this. So uh Star Wars: The High Republic, The Edge of Balance. It's a manga. Unfortunately, like, well, maybe I can pull it up real quick to see if I can tell you all who it's like by. Um,
Um,
forgive me for. Oh, go for it.
it's story by Shima Shinya and
Hmm.
Justina Ireland with art by
Hmm.
Mizuki Sakakibara.
Okay, thank you, Jay. So I like this. The you're seeing the cover there. The person that's on the cover, the young lady. Oh man, like I'm woefully unprepared today.
Lily.
What's her name again? Lily. There you go, Lily. Uh, which is a interesting. Like I feel like that's probably one of the most regular ass Jedi names we've ever had, right? Like Lily. That's like Lily and her apprentice John. You know, right? Like like this fool is just Ma- Master Lily and Master Fred. You know, it's just like, oh, okay, Master Fred, I guess. But yeah, it's just straight up Lily, and uh, Lily is like the character is like the story is basically about her and about her journey um as or kind of coming into her own as a Jedi Knight, and like what it means like for her to have her apprentice, and also like her kind of exploring like like the nature of being a Jedi. And so I found that really interesting, and and that's like what it's like kind of the focus. But as far as the story itself is concerned, it's her um and like her master and her Padawan uh like fighting off what is it, the Dengar? Is that what those things are? Is that how you
Yeah,
say it? The Dengar,
right.
right? Which
Gren Gear.
oh, go ahead. Dengear,
Gren,
right?
yeah.
And that's like the Dengear like have shown up in other media as well. when it comes to the High Republic. And so, I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you've been reading any of this stuff, the Dengir is probably familiar to you. But it's interesting. So I mean, I think my first question to you, Jay, is this a manga?
Yes.
Okay, and why is it a manga?
The story and art are by Japanese people with the Justina Ireland.
Okay,
And it's put out
just
by Viz Media.
okay.
It's a Japanese manga company.
So Justine Ireland doesn't taint it to make it non-manga?
I don't think so.
Okay. What if it was just Justine Ireland writing it, but then the Japanese artist? Would that still be manga?
Officially,
See?
not
See?
sure, but like, I'm not like super rigid. Like, I know I had my little tirade last week, but hell, I still think of Night School as manga, and that was a Russian book.
Mm. So what we're learning is this is more about Americans. Jay's like, if you're American making stuff, don't be trying to call your stuff manga.
Nah, I just want to stand up for cartoons.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not mad at that. So, but yeah, this is a manga. Um, it is, but it does read left to right. So, if you're more of a purist, it's not going to read right to left. Um, but we mentioned what the story is. Jay's showing you some of the art here. And what did you think of this art, Jay?
Very consistent.
That's true. But most manga is, right?
Yes,
It's like
but it's
I
like,
don't know. Uh-huh.
as someone that's read a fair amount of Star Wars comic books,
Right.
it's not something you can say often that the art is consistent.
Well, I agree. Like American Star Wars comic books, like there was times especially where it would just be like, hey, like obviously somebody got pulled in from off the street to like draw this middle part, like this fool does not have any kind of formal art training. He hasn't been drawing his whole life. He or she, it's like this is somebody where they're like, hey man, such and such, we had to redo pages like 7, 8, and 9, and so is like, I've already got paid. You got to pay me more to redo those pages. And they're like, well, we're not going to pay him. So I saw a guy outside that was like, we'll work for food. And it's like if we hand him a pencil, he might be able to do set pages 7, 8, and 9. And that's what it looks like.
Right.
It's like garbage 7, 8, and 9 in the middle of the book. You're like, why did this happen? And it's like, yeah, it's a weird thing. But you're right. Like Star Wars books do have a tendency to be inconsistent in certain points, and it does not suffer from that in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Yeah. So
Honestly, it's actually pretty good art. I won't lie. I will say the lack of color kind of bugs me a little bit. Like,
now that's interesting. Why? Like it's manga, Joe.
I feel like with Jedi's, the color of their saber actually does add to their personality.
That's true.
And so you don't get that here. I mean, you get Lily, she's on the cover, she has green,
Right.
but as far as like her master,
Mm-hmm.
I forget the other dashing dude's name. the two Padawans. It's
Mhm.
like I feel like you lose a little bit. Like actually, the Padawans you get a pretty good sense of,
Okay.
but I still think the color of the saber still just kind of adds to the character,
Right.
and we don't get that here.
Okay. Would you have wanted them to mention what color the sabers were somehow?
Honestly, I would rather them just color the sabers.
And nothing
Like,
else?
yeah,
Really?
like I
Oh.
think stylistically, it would actually look a lot like badass.
All of a sudden, Jay has all of these these like manga manga exceptions.
Well, it's not like no manga is in color. Like, there's lots of color manga.
I mean, there's color manga, but most manga doesn't start in color.
Eh, I mean,
And
even
I mean,
old school
is there a
manga,
manga that you? Oh, I'm sorry.
even
Go
like
ahead.
old school manga would have like color pages in it.
Right. Okay, and I'll give you that. You're right. Like old school manga does have like a section that might be in color. It. Do you know of any manga that has like just like I guess the best way for me to say it is like stylized or artistic license color where it's like okay like if it was only the lightsabers and that was all like have you ever seen that in a manga before?
Not offhand that I could think of, no.
Yeah, I know I've never seen that either. Like I've seen
But it would
like you
be
said
cool.
no I'm not disagreeing with you. And honestly it's just a part of me that's just more so thinking like I feel like there are people out there that are traditionalists and they're just like well you're either going to color it all or you're going to have you have pages that have color like you were talking about
They should read Red
or it's
Sonja,
black and white.
Black, White, and Red.
They should read what?
Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red.
Oh,
And then tell me about that color, like one color thing was bad.
well, but Red Sonja's not manga.
Still, it's in black and white with just red blood. It's pretty awesome to look at.
I believe, I believe it. I believe it. So, um, like, what did you think of Lily's design as far as like her design as a Jedi in general?
Physically, I like her design. Um, Even character wise, I think she's actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's no knight errant, but she could be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like yeah, I like her design a lot
Mm-hmm.
and her character. Like she's like cool, kind of sure of herself, but she's not like anywhere close to like being like she knows that she has limits
Mm-hmm.
and she might not know what they all are, but she's definitely open to learning about them to make up for them. Um, she knows she's not really good with kids, which is kind of interesting because now she has to deal with kids. She
Right.
gets left alone on the planet, and yeah, like I actually do like this character a lot. Like, I think I'm gonna end up following her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I do find the character interesting too. And I feel like she does have like a lot of different kind of dichotomy to her. Like, you know, part of her that is very like competent and aware of her skills, but at the same time definitely has like like questions her abilities and um it's just, you know, trying to like I like how she also like in her mind at least explores the Jedi way. And it's just like, you know, that like it feels like there's a part of her that's almost like not sure if this is the right way to do this.
Mhm.
Which is not something that you get a lot from with many Jedi. Uh, like I guess you have to go to particular Star Wars media to do that. You know what I'm saying? To find that. Like you do get there are those stories do exist. Um, but yeah, you definitely have to go deeper into Legends or maybe play a video game to get those stories generally. And so it's interesting to see this as like, okay, this is a character in the current canon that's like delving into that. Also, too,
Right.
I will say that I like her initial like her design. I won't say her initial, but her design is interesting because it definitely has like hints of like kind of like feudal samurai-ish kind of thing going on.
Right.
But
She has like the lightsaber and the short blade.
hmm but it still looks very like at least in black and white, still looks like very much like a Jedi kind of uh outfit. So like, I would love to see her design um like well, I know like her design is in color on the cover. I kind of feel like that's not like exactly the same design that's in the book, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. You can you quickly pull that back up?
Yeah.
Because I feel.
Real quick.
Hmm.
This is her stance. This is when she's about to spar with her Padawan,
Yeah,
and
and she pulls those from the side, which that's like that in itself is an interesting design choice too, because those twin blades kind of stick up. Like her lightsaber hilts don't hang like most Jedi's from her belt. They kind of stick up and out like
right.
samurai swords.
And I
Yeah,
can pull up her cover.
yeah, but it's like there were points in the book that I was kind of like, I wish I could see what that looks like in color. And I feel like the version of her costume that's on the cover isn't exactly. Oh, you know what it is she's off to the side. Like the main part I want to kind of see is like that middle section, like the belt looking section that's kind of pretty much all covered up.
Right.
And I remember reading the book and I was like, oh, I wonder what that looks like in color. And yeah, you can't really see it like the front of it here. But yeah, but it's a nice design though. It looks really cool and like it has traditional kind of um samurai elements to it, that but at the same time it still looks like a Jedi outfit. And that's awesome. I felt
Right.
like that was a great balance that got struck there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you feel about this story?
I a little underwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I would be more whelmed if I was like current. Um, this book happens after one tragedy and during another.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a space collision,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's an attack on the fair,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of like off to the side of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly one of the stories that like it fleshes out the world.
Yeah.
So if you are reading, like it adds on to it, it gives you more depth, it makes everything feel more alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it loses a little bit. I think this story loses a little bit because I am not current
I
and
hear
I'm
you.
not up on all of these events that are going down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's
And
on me. That's not on the story.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I feel where you're coming from because I do feel like when I was reading this book, and like I said, I'm behind. I was definitely feeling like, man, if I had been reading all this stuff and like I know that there'd be some of these references would hit me in a different way if I had like finished the novel and I was like current with the comic. I felt like, okay, this would probably feel a little bit different. But at the same time, I felt like I appreciated the way the story and the little tidbits were mentioned because it didn't spoil anything, but at the same time, it made me realize like, oh, okay, well, that is like something like because I'm aware of the other media and because I like I've started reading some of that stuff. Like I was like, oh, I know that if I keep reading this, like the things they're referencing here, I'll learn more about if I keep reading that book or if I read these comics or something like that.
Right.
And I kind of appreciated the idea that they didn't spoil the story for me because I was a little afraid of that. Like reading this, I was like, oh man, I haven't read that novel yet. Am I gonna mess around and like basically like have that book spoiled for me by reading this? And I can say that I was not spoiled by that. Um, what I will also say is like I felt like the story like was good on its own. Like I felt like I do agree with you in the sense that I think I would have gotten it. It would have felt like the story was maybe a little bit more impactful if I had been doing all that reading. But the story in and of itself, I was like, this is a cool story, and it's mainly because I think I kind of enjoy the the lens that they're feeding it to me through, which is Master Lily. And so it's like
Right.
I think that if I didn't enjoy that character, I might have had a different feel about the whole story in general. But because I'm like, no, this seems like a cool character, and I'm interested in her take on what it means to be a Jedi, it kind of made this entire story feel like, seem pretty cool.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a bad story. I just think it would have hit better if I was caught up. But I did enjoy it.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, cool.
So,
Cool. So, hmm
oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Should we rate it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say that we should definitely rate it. We're on the same wave, but Jay, as usual, what would you rate uh Star Wars: The High Republic, The Edge of Balance, which number one, this is only like number one in a series apparently, right?
Right. Um, I enjoyed it. I like the main character. I like the artwork. Um, I like the feel of the story. I think if I was current, it would be like really fleshing out this whole new galaxy that they're building. Um, and yeah, like I enjoyed it. Like I would give it a 3.5.
Cool, cool. As for me, I enjoyed it as well. Um, wow, it's like honestly, I think I gotta give the High Republic, The Edge of Balance, a 4, just because I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the characters that they created in this book, or that they had on display in this book, were interesting. The story was definitely very much more grounded than some Star Wars stories that you're used to, but it was a really good story and it had a great feel to it. I enjoyed it. The art was great. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. So
Okay.
yeah. With that said, let's talk about Happy Kaneko's Killer Life. Um, and Jay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk about what this book is.
Okay. So, what this book is, um, one second. What this book is, there we go. This book, Happy Kanako's Killer Life, is about a girl, office worker, unmarried. She's basically gets forced out of her job by a shitty boss. She's like forced to resign, and she goes looking for a new job and ends up accidentally applying with a, a company of hitmen, assassins.
That's what happens
And,
sometimes.
right, like she just went for the first thing in the phone book to apply, and she ends up getting the job, and she becomes an assassin. Like, not the most adept assassin. In fact, a lot of her early kills are kind of like luck, or her just like clumsily shooting on accident. Uh, but eventually, she actually does get good ish,
Get good.
and she develops a reputation. But she has an issue where she wants to kill bad people, but her boss tells her she can only kill people that they're paid to kill. And so she's kind of like, she's enjoying the new job, but she still has to deal with like work stuff, like, not killing people that they're not paid to kill. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this book is that it is the story is told one page at a time.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, you did not notice
Oh.
that?
I mean, I understood that there was like a point, like I was oh, okay. I noticed there was something weird that it was like each page, like I think the big thing was like how like at the end of each page it has like a little like saying or something, and I'm like, why are they doing that? And that's the answer to that question because the story's told one page at a time.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, like I did not realize though that that's how the story was being delivered, like one page at a time. Is it like every day or
It is. I don't know how it was originally released,
okay?
but the guy is um known for doing serial like web comic daily type stuff.
Oh, okay, so probably daily, but
Right.
and we should mention, yeah, the story and art is Toshiya Wakabayashi.
Right.
Yeah, so man, that. See, so that helps answer one of the questions that I had because I was like, why is there like a little like saying or whatever at the end of every page? And I'm
Right.
like, and it's not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just like, what's the purpose? Like, why do that? But I'm reading it after the fact.
Right. And I feel like the most awesome thing about this book is all the amazing puns. Um,
I'm so
God
happy, Jay,
damn
because
these puns.
that's
There's
the other part. I'm like, why are these puns here?
like, I don't know why they're there, but I love them so much.
And they're all animal puns.
Everyone, yes,
Animal, like it's animal vocabulary puns, which I'm like, so wait, was this done in English originally?
no, I don't believe.
Oh,
No, it wasn't.
okay.
So they had
So,
to translate these puns.
but they don't translate the puns directly because, like, I'm sure, like, like you have a frog, right? And
Uh huh.
the word for frog in Japan is not a pun in the same way that the word for frog is a pun in English. So that means there must be like somebody has to make up puns for English, right?
Possibly yes.
Which is a crazy kind of thing and that would explain a lot too because I bet you the puns in Japanese are much more clever than the ones in English.
You know, I'm not sure if that's the case, but I will say I do love these puns.
Well, I'm not mad at you, Jay. Which pun do you love the most, or what's an example of a pun that really like tickled you when you first read it?
Um, like I mean, it starts at the beginning where she's like surprised that it's an assassin firm, and she's
Hmm.
like, "This is an assassin firm. Get out of here!" And there's like
Yeah,
a little otter
dude.
by her.
Yeah,
Or when she
yeah.
says, "For hell's snakes."
Ah, dude, this is so bad. and and that's like a part of why it like I mean like like it's entertaining probably like or I'll say this. I will go as far as to say it's entertaining whether they work or not, but it's definitely on the fence for me. Like some things where you're like, how some things you're like, dude, the entertaining part of it is that it doesn't work or how ridiculous it is. I don't feel like
Hmm.
these puns are quite there. Like they're not like I know there was one where I was just like, this one is oh look oh, oh no armadillo didn't,
Oh
and I'm
no, he
like,
armadillo.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
nah,
like
I armadillo, no, armadillo
it,
didn't,
it does
like
it for me. Like,
really.
but
Ah,
I I like puns. Like even like a lot of bad puns. I kind of dig puns.
no, I mean I
Like
like puns too. I actually appreciate a good pun, but armadillo didn't is like that doesn't work. That has to be one of the ones where like in Japanese, I'm sure it works. It's like in the English, they're like, man, armadillo, like like armadillo didn't is the best I can do. And I'm like, okay, like if that makes more sense to me. Because I'm like, okay, like you're trapped with this armadillo. And they're like, make a pun for the armadillo in English. And I'm like, that's hard. That's hard.
us
Yeah.
says Jay is a punny dude.
It's true.
Uh, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at Hexzilla.
Hexzilla says, "I made you fan art, Mayor. Not in the traditional sense, though. Maybe a thumbnail for this app."
Well, we appreciate you, Heck. Thank you, buddy. You're the man, Heck. You've been the man. As far as you're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, you definitely have like one of these like honorary Fantastic Four member early spots. I don't like you're either the fifth member or the sixth member. I don't know which one. You may have to fight Tiger Claw for the fifth spot. But anyway, but yeah, it's like that one. I was like, oh, I was like, what is that like? Because Armadillo, like Armadillo didn't. It's like I love how you said that. Like it makes sense. Like, of course, his Armadillo didn't. Oh no. Of course, this Armadillo didn't. It's like, no, Joe, it's not. Of course, Armadillo did. But yeah, man. So you know,
Right.
yeah, yeah. But so you laid out the story. Office worker. She's trying to get a new job because she hated the old one, and she goes into this assassin firm. I don't know if you mentioned like she's like, ironically enough, she's a natural.
A
Like
natural.
she,
I don't think I mentioned it.
yeah, but
Um.
she's good at assassinating folks because of like her awkward social skills, kind of like
Right.
like she can shoot because she played a lot of video games by herself, and she's great at sneaking around because she doesn't want to be seen in like social situations. Like she's like
Right.
trying to like like lay low, and it's one of these things where like there's people I'm sure that are um you know like they look at me today and they're like, there's no way that you were ever introvert, but Jay, you can vouch for me. Having
Yeah.
known me my whole life, it's like I wasn't always like this. Like I grew up very socially awkward, and reading some of these things, I was just like, I can totally relate to that. Like, well, I don't know that I'm good at shooting because I played video games, but I played a lot of video games, so I could like if you want to be like, oh well, I'm good at shooting because of video games. Like, okay, I'll give you that, because I get what it's like being a socially awkward person that just like was just happy to play video games on their own. You know, like I look, Jay can tell you because again, Jay is literally my oldest and one of my closest friends. Like I spent hours watching Jay play video games. And when I say that, like, and I don't say that like waiting to play. I'm talking about like I I was very happy and very content watching Jay play video games and just be like, no, I don't even need to play. I just want to watch him play. Like, and so I guess that makes Jay one of the first like, you know, I don't know if he's one of the first social influencers or one of the first like let's play guys. I don't know. Maybe he is because I followed Jay. So, but it's like I'm that dude, and like that shows up in my habits of like watching stuff today, where it's like there's definitely people that I enjoy watching play video games, and like they're games that I rather just watch somebody else play than play myself. So, you know, but it was a really interesting thing, like this socially awkward person who had a certain set of skills that happened to translate over to the field of assassination.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
this is another good one where she's like, "That's totally nuts."
I just like you a little bit right now, Jay. Just so you know. Just so you know. It's totally nuts. Like that's one of the better ones, no question on that. But this gives people an idea of what we're working with here with these puns. That's totally nuts. Like that's that's definitely on the high end of these puns. So if you read that and you're like, that's the good one, it's like, yeah, that's the good one.
Right.
Oh, geesh, man. So how do you feel about like, like the story of this? Like, yeah, like what, how do you feel about the story and how it's like handled through this book?
Um, I like the story. Um,
Hmm.
like it is familiar and yet still kind of wild and out there. Like someone switching jobs in 30, they're like not happy, switching jobs and being enamored with like the new job, like it's their perfect fit. That's
Hmm.
not new,
Hmm.
but done well, it's still an interesting read. And this one is
Yeah.
quirky because the new job is assassin.
Right.
And it's not like she's like a bloodthirsty person, like a psychopath. In fact, at first she actually like feels really bad and has to get drunk after work each night. But it's it's just really interesting watching her get better, watching her like stick to her strong suits. Like they have this thing, like you mentioned, her ability to like blend in and kind of erase her presence. She's like working with someone above her, and she like is constantly doing that during the fights, and she ends up sneaking up on him. And it's kind of like a running gag for a little bit.
Right.
And yeah, like this story is just fun.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit that me being me, obviously, I do have a love of violence and gore in my fiction. Um, and you do not get that here.
Right.
Most of the kills are off screen.
Yeah.
Even like a lot of times the hit will be like off screen. And that doesn't detract from how charming the story is at all. Like I still have a really good time reading it. I think the one page format helps too. Like it really makes it digestible, like, and easy to read through. It's just, yeah, like it's a really good feeling. It flows really well. So I really do like the format. I like the story. I like the characters. Everything is charming. I love when she kills assholes. And yeah, like I love this book.
I feel like the one page format's definitely gonna make me have to like go back and reread some of it to be like, oh, like, because don't get me wrong, I agree with you. Like, I feel like it flows really well, and I feel like the story, like I didn't realize the book was presented like page by page, but now that you say it, it makes sense in how it is that, like the beats of the story or whatever, because it does feel like, okay, like, you kind of get a little something with each page, and that seems like it would be hard to do. Like, like I feel like most people write in more like act kind of beats,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're like, oh well, I got to make sure that I deliver every page just a little something, like, because we all know there's going to be some pages that are more impactful than others, but if you're delivering a page each time you put something out, you're going to want to make sure that people at least feel like satisfied with that page. And so, yeah, that makes me feel like I have to go back and look at it, uh, like again, to kind of like taking that information into account. What I will say is this though about this book, like I did enjoy reading like the different parts of it. Um, I do feel though, like, when as I was reading it, I'm like, I think I would enjoy this better as an anime.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
yeah, and it just kind of like, even like the animal pun part of it, I was kind of like, this might, like, I might feel different about this if it was an anime. Because then the animal will come out in a weird way or something, and that might feel comical as opposed to it's like the comedy kind of strictly being on like the pun, you know? But just like I just kind of feel like the character and like in my mind, I was reading it and seeing like all of this like moving and feeling like it would be a more enjoyable experience in that format, which was strange for me because I don't normally feel that way about manga or comics or anything. Like, like I read comics and I'm like, oh, it would be great, it would be really cool to see this animated so I could see it move. But I don't ever feel like, oh well, the best version of this would be animated, or the the best, you know, or the best version of this would be like in some sort of movie or something like that. But this story is it's a great premise, and I really enjoy what I did read, and it does have a cool kind of quirkiness to it. But I kind of feel like, man, like this might not be the format for this story. Like this story might need to be animated, or maybe it needs to be like a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if we're lucky, like short form anime is actually pretty big. So we might end up getting it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very possible. You're right. You're right. So we talked about the story. Oh, what do you think about the art?
I liked it. Very cute.
It is cute. It is in color, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in color. So, so it's not traditional manga. No joking. No, I'm joking. That's cats out there are like, wait, what? No, but yeah, it is in color, so that's cool. And yeah, it's interesting just because um reading both of the like this book and the High Republic the Edge of Balance back to back, it was interesting, like the difference in the two styles. And I was like, yeah, like this is cool.
Would you say it was unbelievable?
Oh, dude, if you don't stop with this, and that's the thing. Oh, like that's so unbelievable. Like what? Ugh. That's what I'm saying, man. Like they all can't be friggin' turtley, right? They can't all be turtley.
Right. So what would you rate
So
this book?
you know what? It's hard. It's hard. Like I'm not 100% certain. Like I kind of what my instinct is telling me is to rate it 3 out of 5. I feel like I enjoyed the book more than 3 out of 5, but I think that it's a 3 out of 5 book. But it's like it's a strange thing because you're like Oz, Oz is in chat. He says, "I wish this comic was a movie instead." Mayor Young, and it's like I do feel that way, and that kind of taints. Like I don't know that I wish it was a movie more than as well. Maybe I wish it was anime, so it could be an anime movie. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like there's a part of me that does feel that way. Like I feel like this may not be the best format for this story, and that might be like it's weird because like it's strange for me to feel that just because of how much I love comics, but also too there's a part of me that's kind of um like it would be cool to see this in motion, and then also too like anime usually is like a pretty well I won't say usually, but there's many like some of my favorite anime are like really faithful adaptations of the source material. And it's like there's small changes, but most of the time it's like literally just like what you read is what you see moving, and that's a cool thing about the transition from manga to anime that you don't always get in American comics. Um, but in this instance, it's like almost like I don't even know that like just talking about the things that you mentioned, Jay, where it's like I don't know if I would be mad if they like did like the manga and animated it and then also like added like some of these assassinations, like some action sequences because it's like why not? But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this stuff that happens off screen, it's like it would be kind of cool to see that happen on screen. And so I don't know, man. Like I feel like I'm very conflicted in my opinion on this, and I don't know why I feel this way necessarily. But I feel like I usually feel the exact opposite. Like I'm usually like, you know, I don't want it to deviate from the source material. I don't necessarily need it to be animated or in a live action sense, but I'm having all these opposite feelings. I'm gonna give uh Kaneko's Killer Life 3 out of 5. What about you, Jay?
Okay. Um, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like, I really enjoyed it. I like the one page format. I like the
Mhm.
character. I like the assassinations. Um, and I think it is interesting watching the character evolve from like where
Yeah.
she starts and she's like nervous and
Hmm.
killing people on accident. Then she becomes like an assassin and like superstar,
Right.
and she's still nervous, but she's got a little more confidence, and uh she wants to, like, she kind of goes through like all these different changes, and it's not like they really develop the character. Like the character goes through an arc
Right.
of
I agree.
like, yeah, like a really interesting arc. And it shows in a bunch of ways. Like there's a point where she has a conversation with her mom, and she's like talking about like how she ends up confessing that she lost her job, but she got a new one, and she's like really
Hmm.
enjoying it and really happy. um there's a part where she like runs into an old school friend, and they
Right.
start hanging out, but she's still really socially awkward. So like
Right.
it's hard for her to like kind of rebuild this friendship because she's not
Right.
really sure how to act.
Right.
And like she's dealing with that and the assassinations and wanting to do good. And it's, yeah, like I like watching her go through
Right.
all this.
Right.
It's entertaining. So I would say like
Yeah.
a 4 out of 5.
No, there you go. There you go. Let me ask you, Jay, is this still ongoing? Like, are there like pages that come out still, or has it ceased?
I believe this is volume 1, and that there
Okay.
should be a second volume coming. I
But
don't know
is it
when.
are there like single pages that are getting released that somewhere that people can like go look at? Do you know?
I don't honestly don't know. Like
And that's okay.
I I was in the comic shop on my
Right.
tablet,
Okay.
looking through new
On
releases.
like
And
you talk to the person behind the virtual desk.
right. No,
Right.
but it was like a new release, Happy Kanako's Killer Life. And so like the front page and the title was enough to get me to check out the synopsis.
All right, makes sense.
And the synopsis sounded good, like an office lady that becomes a hitman. I
Mm-hmm.
was actually getting like a little Stephanie Plum vibes.
See
Who
that?
she, if you don't know, that's the Janet Ivanovich detective that got fired from her job, so she became a bounty hunter. And she's like terrible at it, but she gets better and better. And I thought it might be something like that, and little different feel, but
Hmm.
like definitely more comedic. But yeah, like I ended up really liking it.
Cool.
And yeah, so like it's a little weird. Like I know for me, when I was reading it, like the one page format was like obvious to me. Like I couldn't help. Like I just noticed that everything was in the one-page format, and looking a little into it, not really, but seeing that he's done serial type stories before that were collected into volumes. I don't remember the name of his big one, but it was like pretty popular, like a romance manga that was serialized.
Mm.
And yeah, so I think this is just volume one. I don't know where to find the individual strips, or if there's a place where you could watch or read the ongoing ones. I don't know.
Mhm. Well, look, we'll look into it, and if we or when we find it, uh, why don't you go to our Instagram and check that out? We'll post it to our Instagram. So if you're not following us, follow us on Instagram, and we'll put it there. Well, I'll ask Moses to do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. So but yeah, that's cool. Like that's cool. Like and I would be interested to like check out what it's like getting like a comic page periodically. Like I don't know whether they do it daily or every other day, or I mean I'm assuming because it's a page, I would assume it'd have to be like at least every other day, or maybe like two or three a week, something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, when Mega Tokyo was coming out, that was a 2-day a week thing.
Yeah.
You may remember Mega Tokyo, the webcomic about a guy who moves to Tokyo for a job, and he ends up getting stranded there with no job and no apartment.
As happens sometimes.
Right.
Right.
Really good series. And I was reading that like 1 or 2 pages, or 2 pages a week.
Yeah.
So I am familiar with waiting for pages.
Yeah. And if you're, when you're talking about somebody that's like a writer artist, like I'm not mad at it personally. Like, it's interesting. Like that's something that's happened in like that space for a little while. And it almost feels like that's kind of like almost what people are experimenting with in American comics now, with things like the Substack and things like that,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway. So okay. That's Happy Kaneko's Killer Life. So we'll see where it goes from here, and we'll try to see if we can post or give you all a little bit of information on where you can check those pages out a little bit later on the Fantastic Forum Instagram. So I know we're basically just about coming up on time. Jay, you want to talk about a few news stories real quick, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, sure.
All
We've
right,
got
let's
time
do
for
it.
a couple.
Okay, let's do it. Woo! Comic book news. Comic book news.
No, not like
Yeah. Dang. You sound just like Amber, Jay. You sound just like Amber. Listen, be careful. Oz might try to kiss you or something. Watch out.
that.
It's happened before. Don't let it happen again. All right. So, Jay, you got any news, anything that's like jumped out at you lately?
HBO is leaving Amazon Prime Video.
I did. Look, you said that with gravitas, Jay. HBO is leaving Amazon Prime Video.
No,
damn.
I didn't mean to give it gravitas.
You gave it
I
gravitas, Jay.
was swallowing the wrong way.
Listen.
And so I needed to make sure that I didn't completely swallow terribly.
Right now, I'm like,
like dying.
I'm sitting here like, Is Amazon Prime okay? I need to know, Jay. Please help us. Talk to us. Let us know what's going on with that.
So basically, they had a deal with Amazon, and they were not willing to change that deal when HBO Max came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of just pulled HBO from the Prime services, but they will have an app on the Amazon Fire Stick.
Which is like an HBO Go app, or what is it?
The HBO Max app.
Oh, the HBO Max. Jeez,
Yeah,
man.
that's going to
So
be
wait,
on the
so
Fire Stick. So
okay,
it's like
okay,
the way it was you could subscribe to HBO through Amazon. So
right.
you use your Amazon Pay info, you watch it on Amazon Video. Now they're taking that away, and they're going to have their own app on the Fire Stick.
Hex
They
and
say,
Hex. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say Hex in chat. He was like, who wasn't willing to change, HBO or Amazon?
Amazon.
Got it. There you go. Which, yeah, you did say that. You're like, and like HBO is trying to change the deal because they have HBO Max now, and Amazon's like, nah, no
Right.
changes. Like
So
that deal you made before, that's your deal forever.
so right now they're looking to lose about 5 million subscriptions to HBO.
Sheesh.
They're hoping that everyone that loses their subscription will come to HBO Max. But we won't know
Well,
for
that's not
sure.
gonna happen. No, look, we know for sure. 5 million people aren't gonna sign up to HBO Max because you can't get it on Amazon no more. Now, I'm not saying that some of those people won't transfer over. Sure, some of them will, but not 5 million. Like you're not gonna get like 100%. Like, and I'm not even talking about like over time. Like I'm talking about no. Like half of those people, no, are gonna be like they're like, I was happy doing this because I could do it through this way. Like you know what I'm talking about, Jay. You're one of those
Yeah,
people, right?
definitely.
Right. You'd be like, no, like you're like, I enjoyed this because I could get it in this particular way. And
Right.
you're like, you're making it hard for me now, and so I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah. Like it's one of the reasons why I only keep like subscription services for like a month or two. Like
Hmm.
if they were on Amazon, I would keep them all the time. Like
Well,
if I
there you
could just
go.
watch it through that app. Like
Wow, that's
if
so
I could get
wild, man.
Netflix or Hulu through Amazon, like just watch it there, I
Yeah.
would I would be subscribed to Netflix and Hulu right now. And I'd be able to watch Why the Last Man, which isn't on Amazon for some reason.
I mean, they want it for their own network for a little bit, probably, Jay. But give it a
Well,
moment.
I mean,
The
like network, like a lot of the shows in general, a lot of shows, they premiere on their network and then they sell the individual episodes or season on Amazon. So you get it like the
hmm
next day.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, they're not doing it with Why the Last Man.
Gotcha.
So I'm not watching Why the Last Man.
Dang.
Which,
Well,
to
there
be
it is.
honest, I never really got into the comics, so I'm not willing to go out of my way to watch it. Like if it was
Hmm.
easy, yeah,
Hmm.
but they're making me work for it, so no.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Look, I'm just looking at chat real quick. I see Sir John. Sir John says hello. Hello, Sir John. Also, Hex here saying, Amazon, you dumb sons of bitches. Like,
I mean, if I
you,
was
you,
Amazon, I would. If I was Amazon, I would work with everyone to try like getting people to my app. That would be my biggest thing. Like that's what I would be trying to do.
mm,
Like I don't know. Like, I know for streaming services, for Amazon, engagement is different. But if I feel like if everyone was watching all of their streaming services through my app, an app that sells things,
Yeah.
like I would be on top. Like if people could just, because the things that aren't available are available to buy.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah. Big Man 24/7 says HBO like I'm HBO bitch. Fuck your couch. which which
nice.
is very well might be the comment of the night. Like and then but even though Sure John is here giving that comment a run for its money here with the why the last man proved that not only Netflix can make horrible comic book adaptations, which I'm assuming that that's a commentary on Sweet Tooth, but
They made a bunch
who's
of terrible, well, in some
right?
people's
No,
opinion, adaptations. Like I know a
right,
lot of people weren't feeling Jupiter's Legacy.
right, and that's the thing, which it very well might be a commentary on both, you know, and in
And I know the
fairness,
Death
it's
Note movie had issues.
so well, dang, everybody out here like, yeah, Netflix, they don't do that. You know what though? I will say this. I will say this, and just because we're in the news segment and it's a little more freestyle here, I feel like Jupiter's Legacy got a little bit of a bad rap. Like some of the effects left something to be desired, but the story itself, it's like it's definitely not the comic, but as far as adaptations go, it's like it's not terrible, but I don't know.
Sir
I
John
don't know.
says Sweet Tooth, Jupiter's Legacy, She-Man.
See, you didn't have to do that, little. I'm sorry, I'm about to call school Little John. I'm sorry, you had to do that, Sir John. You had to do that, Sir John. She-Man, come on. Give that Masters of the Universe the respect it deserves. At least call it by its title, even if you don't like it. She-Man.
The new one's out tomorrow, I think.
Listen, Jay. Listen. Oh, I'm telling you, people are gonna be like, you know what? That last joint wasn't as bad as we thought when this joint comes out.
I believe it. But isn't
They
that
go,
weird though to have like two different versions of the same show running on your network at the same time? That seems odd, right?
well, Warner Brothers says no. It seems perfectly normal to them. So I don't know what to tell you, man. This
Wait,
is what people are
Warner
doing
says that?
now, huh?
Warner Brothers says that?
Well,
What
I
shows do
mean,
they have?
well, because they're doing like you got technically right. You got like Ben Affleck Batman, right? And then you got friggin' Pattinson Batman, and then you got like all these different versions of the Joker, and then maybe
Mm.
there's gonna be a movie where all these people are all in the same movie. Like who? Like Michael Keaton's in Flash. It's like it's like, dude, these cats are like, no, man, there's no such thing as brand confusion. Like people don't like customers don't do that. And and don't get me wrong, it's like they might be right. They might be right. Like I feel like comic book people that watch comic movies are getting to a point where they're understanding, like, no, you could have different versions of the same character, and they might exist in parallel to one another. Now, I personally feel like the way that DC is doing it is probably a little bit more confusing than maybe like say how Marvel might be doing it. Like I feel like Marvel is introducing that concept from a story perspective, and they might do it or they may not. Who knows? We don't even know. DC is just like let's throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. And so it's like, okay, cool. Like, but it's working for them, right? Like they're like people weren't feeling Jared Leto Joker that much, and they're like, oh, we got this Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and people like that Joker. So it's like maybe they're right. I don't know. It's not how I would do it, but what do I know? I don't get to make movies.
Right.
Maybe one day I'll get to, but probably not, because I don't think I'm trying to do that, and I don't think anybody's trying to make sure that I do it. So that's probably not going to happen.
Dude, I'd love to make a movie. That would be
Well, listen,
awesome.
Jay, you're a creative dude, man. You should try to make that happen. So, but hey, I'm not here to tell people, how they should and shouldn't be doing their thing. I'm just saying that, it's interesting because cats are out here like Marvel and DC, or whether you want to call it Disney and Warner Brothers, or however you want to say it, like they're definitely out here trying two different approaches. So we're gonna get to see which one works and which one doesn't, or how successful one is over the other.
Right.
Yeah. Look, Oz is in chat. He says Batfleck is also in Flash. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
Oh.
I'll let you do your thing. My bad.
No, go ahead. I was on the wrong one anyway.
Oh, but yeah. What was Oz saying in that other one that you were?
It's frustrating when Mayor doesn't have his checks and balances when he starts spouting off nonsense.
What nonsense am I spouting off, Oz? Like what? Look, what part of what I said was untrue? Look, I understand. Oz isn't here to defend DC in person, or in real time. Maybe I'll say that. Like he's not here to defend DC in real time. But it's one of these things where it's like, what part of what I just said was like not accurate? I don't even know.
He says he ain't got the time, Mayor.
I'm assuming that's a typo. But I don't know what that means. But I don't know who E is. But tell E, you ain't doing nothing. E, E don't make no movies. What did Sir John say here?
Sir John says DC is like throwing a plate of pasta in the wall to see which sticks, but instead they get sauce everywhere.
Look, and that's what I'm saying. Like Sir John is feeling like we're on the same wavelength here. Exactly. It's like, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that, it's like it will remain to be seen how effective that method is. Because at the end of the day, it's like, listen, obviously there's like a rabid or a certain segment of DC's fan base that is like hardcore, right? Like they got a whole like Snyder cut brought into existence. Like that's hardcore. I can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I can tell you is this. If Marvel fans were like, we want to see something in particular and you better do it, I don't think Kevin Feige would respond to that. and look, that might be for better or for worse. I don't know. Like, as a Marvel fan, I will say this. As a Marvel fan, I've been pretty satisfied with what we have gotten. But not completely satisfied. You all have heard like my gripes. And it's like, yeah, like there are things that I would do different if it was my call at Marvel. But at the same time, it's like I'm relatively satisfied, and it's like, but what I can tell you is like if I was like deeply unsatisfied, I don't know that there was anything I would be able to do about that at Marvel. It would just be like I'd be shouting into the internet, and the cats would be like, yeah, but nothing would change. They're not gonna make like a special version of a movie for me on Disney Plus because I like got a whole bunch of fans. Like I don't like I'm trying to think like how many people would it take for Kevin Feige to be like, you know what? Yeah, make that version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I don't think I can get enough people to rally behind me to get like a comic book accurate version of the Guardians of the Galaxy for them to be like, yeah, we're going to remake that or give you like another version of it or none of that. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, so I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So should we head out?
Yeah, I guess so. It feels like it does feel like about that time because I know like there's other stuff happening. Obviously, like I did. Like, again, like because of what happened with my computer, I wasn't able to produce as much as I would have liked to. Like I did see a story where apparently like one of the writers from Infinity Train got hired at Marvel Studios.
One of the writers?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Maybe it's not a writer. Maybe it's a storyboard artist. But like one, basically an animation person that worked on things like Infinity Train and something else. What was it? Onyx something or other. Got hired at Marvel
Onyx
Studios.
Equinox?
Yes, got hired at Marvel Studios to do animation stuff for them. And I was like, oh,
Wow,
that's a story.
nice.
Yeah. So that's somebody that's like going to be working at Marvel now and doing some kind of projects and stuff. Nothing that they were able to announce what they were working on, but I'm like, oh, like that was something that was interesting. And then also too, like they had the whole like they had like the gameplay reveal stuff for the Midnight Suns game, that the tactical turn-based RPG thing that's coming. Like it's like a card-based card battle turn-based RPG with Marvel heroes from Firaxis with the Midnight
Right. How
Suns.
does that
So
look?
we'll talk more about it maybe in the weeks to come. Because it's the kind of thing where I know for me it's like in my mind I was like, oh, we'll do that as like a topic because it's just the two of us, and I'm like that would be a cool thing because we could show some videos and all that kind of stuff, and then my computer crashed, so it doesn't make as much sense in my mind to do it now, but just I'll tease it because it's like hopefully I'll get a computer in the week.
Okay.
or be able to fix the old one so that we can get some footage and like actually go more in depth into it, because and honestly it is something that I would love to talk about with all four of us here, just because it's Midnight Suns and we know how big of a Midnight Suns fan Mo is, and it would just be interesting to get Oz's take just because Oz is the DC guy. So
He says it
what's the
looks
last one?
good, like visually, not in the fun aspect.
Is he talking about Midnight Suns?
I believe he is.
Oh, that's funny. It looks good in the visually, not in the fun aspect. That's hilarious. Oh man. But yeah, so yeah, I think you're right, Jay. Now's a good time for us to go ahead and get out of here, and you know, we'll like Mo will drop the final thoughts music like now. Thank you. All right, Jay, give me some final thoughts, man.
I've recently been watching a lot of or some older anime that I enjoyed
Like
when I
what?
was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I still enjoy it now,
Mm-hmm.
even though the world has changed.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to apologize for that. Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
That's more than fair, friend. Well, I will say, for the entire Fantastic Forum, even the half of us that aren't here, Oz in chat, for friggin' Moses out doing his thing, for Jay and myself, we just want to thank you for hanging out with us, for taking the time to contribute to the show. If there's things that you want to see, things that you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate. Hit us on our social media, whether it's our Instagram, whether it's our Facebook group, whether it's our Twitter, all of it, Fantastic Forum. Let us know what it is that you think of the show, what it is you want us to see, what you want us to talk about. And we would be more than happy to entertain all of that. So with that said, again, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week with a Fantastic Forum. We'll catch you next time.